Good evening, I'm Ian Hannamansing. In Abbotsford, British Columbia tonight, thousands displaced, farms decimated, and in some places, floodwaters are still rising.
And the water just came so fast across the prairie. It was scary.
Tonight, promises from the government to rebuild as people desperately try to find their way home.
It's kind of like a hotel purgatory.
And the emotional conversations happening across the province.
I know you don't want to lose your furnace. You guys saving yourselves, that's the biggest.
I'm Adrienne Arsenault in Washington. Justin Trudeau uses a North American Leaders Summit to make the case for Canada.
We're going to continue to do the work necessary to not just highlight our position, but find solutions.
The leaders are friendly, but a dispute is brewing. And for parents of children aged 5 to 11, an anxious wait is over.
I think I will just have a huge sense of relief.
Canada is just a day away from vaccine approval for kids. This is The National.
And we are tracking two major developing stories tonight. Here in BC, in what many regard as a climate fuel disaster, the enormous task of picking up the pieces is underway, even as some new flood threats emerge, and thousands are still stranded or displaced.
And here in Washington, D.C., a big piece of Joe Biden's climate agenda around rebates for electric vehicles is the biggest source of friction at the North American Leaders Summit.
But let's begin here, where Canadian Armed Forces troops are arriving to help. A Canadian Air Force helicopter leaving Patricia Bay earlier today to assess the situation across the Lower Mainland. 120 Canadian Forces soldiers are expected here in Abbotsford tonight. They'll be focused on helping bring people to safety, restoring supply chains, and protecting vital infrastructure. And tonight, our Susanna De Silva is about halfway between Abbotsford and Chilliwack, where the disaster is taking another turn. And Susanna, what's happening where you are?
Well, Ian, this farm behind me is quiet right now. It was a scramble earlier to get whatever they could off of this property, but the street we are on right now has been a steady stream of trucks and trailers filled with sandbags. They're trying to protect whatever properties and barns they can. We are in Yarrow right now, right, the boundary between Chilliwack and Abbotsford, and the water here continues to move in, and there is some frustration here that more isn't being done to help them in this location. It was previously on an evacuation order. It is now on an evacuation alert, but that could change.
I got water rushing out of the calf barn because it's coming in the back door so fast.
Uncertainty now as waters recede in some areas, only to rise in others.
If it keeps coming, we could see another 2 feet of water coming in, 3 feet quite easily over time.
Yesterday there was no water here. Today it just keeps coming. Water coming from Abbotsford through dike breaches. The Bowmans have been dairy farmers on this property for 45 years. After seeing some flooding earlier in the week, things were improving, but they decided to evacuate their 500 dairy cows anyway. Now they're trying to save whatever equipment is left. They're worried about all the other farmers around them in the same or worse situation.
You guys saving yourselves, that's the biggest.
The rising and shifting waters complicating things for everyone in the region impacted by what has happened. A weekend hockey tournament has turned into an almost week-long struggle to get home.
It's kind of like a hotel purgatory. You know, we roam around the place. That's kind of all we can do.
The Howe Shorts live in Revelstoke, normally a 5-hour drive, now inaccessible from the Lower Mainland. They can either take a 36-hour detour using ferries up the coast or a long detour through the U.S.
Unfortunately, the kids were just having their new passports applied for, so we have no passports, and who travels, to Chilliwack with a passport? It's far away, but not that far.
Without them, U.S. officials say only an enhanced driver's license will do. They're grateful not to be flooded, but worry about their life, including school, that's on hold.
By the time you get back and start trying to catch up, you're so stressed out that you can't focus on catching up.
And it is the not knowing when the impacts of this disaster will be over that is one of the hardest parts to deal with. For now, everyone is trying to be grateful for what they do have.
The main thing now is, let's save ourselves, get out of here as much as we can take and move away and to higher ground and hope for the best. Hope and pray for the best.
Susanna, all day today in Abbotsford, I heard from people talking about how anxious they're still feeling. What are you hearing from people?
Yeah, there's just so much uncertainty. They're looking at basic things like the major infrastructure that has failed right now, how long that is going to take to repair, for all of this water to go away before they can even start thinking about rebuilding at this point. And many people here are just hoping they will also begin to see more help. Ian?
Thanks, Susanna. Let's bring in CBC News meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff. And Johanna, as Susanna just showed us, things getting better in one place can mean they're getting more difficult for others.
That's right, Ian. And the Sumas area, the only waterway under a BC flood warning right now, even as water levels recede across the province. The water drainage towards the old Sumas, what was an old Sumas lake, is west to east, and that's why we are seeing flooding progress towards Chilliwack tonight. Overall, though, Ian, water levels slowly dropping tonight.
It has been wet all day here in Abbotsford, cold tonight. Johanna, what can we expect from the forecast in the days ahead?
Luckily, this rain that we've been seeing all day tapering tonight for the impacted regions, really only seeing a 5 to 10 millimeter range, so not impacting water levels tonight. Yes, it's cold, snow at higher levels, but Ian, it's really the event that starts Monday night and through all of next week that officials are already watching. The storm track basically relines up. It's not a full atmospheric river, it's a longer duration event, but we could see another 80 to 100 millimeters through next week. And with saturated soils and waterways, this kind of moisture likely to have an impact on what we're seeing right now.
All right, Johanna, thank you.
You're welcome.
This disaster is not just about displaced people, as we've seen tonight already. Thousands of farm animals have died and many more are in danger. Katie Nicholson has been looking at that part of the story, and where you were today, it's indelicate to mention this, but it's true, you could actually smell the decay.
Almost smells like death, that sort of ominous sign of just how deeply these waters have cut into this agricultural community. And it really hints at what they might reveal when they recede.
Hoping to get across to see his property, today Gord Calvert will have to settle for a hug. While his home and the farms that neighbor it are underwater, he's grateful because it could have been so much worse.
There were 300 people who sandbagged at the Barrow pump station. They literally saved the prairie. So thank you to all those people.
This area is a major dairy hub for the province. Abbotsford's mayor acknowledges when the waters recede, the full impact will be revealed.
There's going to be dead livestock and dead chickens.
Thousands of animals are believed dead, but the Dairy Association says it's too early to assess the full scope of the financial loss and the loss of animal life.
I can't imagine what it would be like to see your farm, something that you've worked at your whole life, all of a sudden with 6 feet of water, potentially having to leave the premises with the evacuation order, having to leave your animals behind.
And for the surviving cattle, another challenge. Waterlocked roads mean no way for feed to get in, something the federal government says it's working on.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is working with industry to support the humane and safe transport of animals and to ensure the availability of livestock feed.
And yet, from these grim realities, moments of gratitude and generosity.
And the water just came so fast across the prairie. It was insane. It was scary. It was actually scary.
Denise de Jong's Abbotsford farm is completely underwater, but her horses are safe, high and dry on a Langley farm, thanks to the kindness of others.
There's many people that offered to take our horses, of course, but to have all 8 of them in one spot, it means the world to me. I can't even start to think of how I'm going to thank these people for taking us in.
And while many, like de Jong, did follow evacuation orders, there are some who held back. They stayed to look after their farms. Today, a message to them from officials just pleading with them to please follow those emergency orders. About 40 people in the zone still that they're asking to leave for their own safety and the safety of first responders who might have to rescue them. Ian?
And Katie, on that point, earlier today I spoke with Mike Sear. He's the chief of the Abbotsford Police Department, and he said that while he completely understands what worried farmers are going through, he's urging those under evacuation orders to stay away for their own safety.
We're also having some real challenges with the order. We've had, in areas, and I truly respect what the farmers are going through. We know how difficult this is, and with the livestock that they're trying to manage. But we've had some pretty dangerous situations where, farmers are actually just barging right through, areas where we're trying to block the road. Many people are being very compliant, but we really need the assistance because, once people are in and has these waters rise in areas, it again puts us in a challenging position to have to go back out or back in to rescue people.
So tough conditions, but authorities have been urging people to stay calm all across the Lower Mainland. But for some, that is easier said than done. People are understandably anxious with supply lines cut. They're worried about getting food, gas, in some cases, even basic information. Renee Filipponi looks at what's being done to try to fix that.
A calm day here, a far cry from the crashing water that washed this barge ashore earlier this week.
This is the cause of our actions as such, right? So we have to rethink how we respect the environment.
The crisis is prompting people to prepare. Abda Mahmood packed emergency kits for her children's cars this week. With many major roads cut off, there are supply issues across the province, from gas stations to grocery stores.
Well, we've been here 4 hours, and now they discovered that the tanks are dry, so we're just sucking the last couple of dollars left.
In the Fraser Valley today, some essential trucks were able to make it to Chilliwack, but still, problems remain.
We don't have a lot of groceries. We're running out of water. We have the fear of not just the flood, but electricity, medications for many.
The province hopes to open more roads in the coming days. The Coquihalla will take much longer.
We're doing what we can, everything we can, to reestablish transportation links around the province.
And today, Ottawa said more help is coming, including 120 soldiers right away, with hundreds more available.
It'll provide help to vulnerable, stranded, and in distress people. And it will include personnel to mitigate the effects of the floods, which include the protection of critical infrastructure.
It's been a year of climate catastrophe in BC. First the heat dome and fires, and now mass flooding. Amid it all, there was good news for hundreds trapped in Hope who arrived in Vancouver by train.
Basically just kind of let it go, let go with the flow. That's all you can do really in our situation.
It's that sense that things are out of their hands that is echoed by so many who have lost their homes, are cut off from loved ones, and worried about what's next. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, Vancouver.
We have more to come on the situation in British Columbia a little later, but first, Adrian, you are following another big developing story tonight.
Indeed, Ian. I'm in Washington, D.C., where today, for the first time since 2016, the leaders of Canada, the United States, and Mexico sat down in person to talk politics and, of course, to talk about protectionism. So Justin Trudeau, Joe Biden, Manuel López Obrador held a series of bilateral and trilateral meetings on a range of topics, including the big one right now, a divisive U.S. plan to offer American consumers rebates on some electric cars. Coming out of tonight's meeting, this was the sentiment.
This trip to D.C. has been extremely effective. During the bilateral meetings I had with the American administration and the North American Leaders Summit, we've really seen that our partnerships are strong and unwavering.
Yes, but of course, that electric vehicle rebate plan played big today. It also worked its way towards a final vote in the House tonight. It was one of several items the Prime Minister came here to discuss. Ashley Burke takes us through the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, accompanied by the President of the United Mexican States and the Prime Minister of Canada.
This is supposed to be a friendly conversation among three good neighbors.
So today, it's about what we can do in partnership and mutual respect to strengthen our region.
But even good neighbors have disputes. These North American leaders wrestling with issues that strike at the very core of their economies. Earlier today, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau met one-on-one with U.S. President Joe Biden. They talked about the Line 5 pipeline dispute, Biden's Buy American agenda, his plan to offer tax credits to boost sales of electric vehicles, but only if they're made in America. Canada calls that an unfair subsidy that would kill Canadian jobs and drive production to U.S. plants.
The answer is I don't know, and I don't know what we're going to be dealing with, quite frankly, when it comes out of legislation, so we'll talk about it then.
Biden making no promises today about changing the proposal. As it stands, Canada calls it a violation of the North American Free Trade Agreement, but the White House disagrees.
We don't view it that way. I think it's safe to say. I would say that in our view, Amr, the electric vehicle tax credits is an opportunity to help consumers in this country.
After the trilateral talks, Trudeau summed up the meetings to reporters at the Canadian Embassy, saying he brought up the threat the tax incentive poses to all three countries' auto industries.
I highlighted over the course of these past 2 days in many, many different conversations Canada's real concerns about the impact it would have not just on the industry in Canada, but on the integrated industry and workers on both sides of the border. And we're going to continue to do the work necessary to not just highlight our position, but find solutions.
Trudeau says there's time. The legislation still has to make its way through the Senate. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Washington.
Okay, to cut through the talk, let's bring in a few more smart political minds now. Chief Political Correspondent Rosemary Barton, and of course, in CBC News, Washington correspondent Alex Panetta. Rosie, let's start with you. It was a long press conference from the Prime Minister. I know everyone was taking lots of notes. What did you circle tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the Prime Minister went down with an expectation that he was going to change hearts and minds over this electric vehicle credit or even Line 5. What he hoped to do was start building a case directly to the President and to other officials he's met over the past couple of days about why this electric vehicle credit doesn't make sense for a continental integrated economy and a supply chain and automobile sector that has long been integrated. So did he make some progress by making those arguments? I think he did. He brought them up very directly with the President and I think educated Americans to some extent about the devastating effects that this would have. So we may not see the concrete result now, but I think Canadians will continue to hammer away at this.
So what I find interesting about you two is that, Rosie, obviously you get a perspective from the Canadian side, but Alex, you know, you've been lurking in the White House. I know you've been on Capitol Hill. Is what Rosie's talking about sinking in? Is it making any traction? Is this even a conversation?
People know Canadians aren't happy now. They didn't know that a couple of weeks ago, certainly not in a widespread way. But I think what this week did was it delivered a wake-up call that we are in a vastly different world from the one that produced the Auto Pact and 50 years of North American economic integration. This is an era of protectionism that's going to last beyond Donald Trump. And I think one of the things that was really fascinating this week, a moment that really crystallized this, was last night, Prime Minister Trudeau was giving a speech a couple of doors down about how precious our bonds are between these two countries. And around the same time, just as he gets off the stage, a helicopter swoops in overhead and lands on that lawn over there. And it's Joe Biden coming back from a speech where he's doubling down on this credit that Prime Minister Trudeau's in town to try to lobby against. So I don't really see a resolution to this thing coming very easily.
Rosie, what are you hearing? I know it's early, the summit's barely over. I don't even think they've had dinner. But what are you hearing from the Canadians?
Listen, I think that the effort here was not unlike what we saw the Canadians do with Donald Trump. That is, reach out to everybody you know, have as many conversations as you can, and try to make some inroads on some issues that mean something to us. I think Justin Trudeau knows very well what he's dealing with. You heard in his press conference tonight that he understands how important this bill is to the administration. So maybe it's not going to get changed now, but maybe it will later. I would say in the closing statement from the three leaders, there was one line perhaps that would offer some hope. And it says that when it comes to electric vehicles, they believe it offers a historic opportunity for, quote, North America. Is that the beginning of a window of conversation or negotiation? Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but perhaps that is also a promising sign there.
People will be hanging on to that for sure. You mentioned that Biden needs this. How badly does he need this?
Badly. He's had one of the swiftest declines in public opinion, public approval of any president in modern history. But beyond Joe Biden, this is Democrats' greatest opportunity in over a half century to expand the social safety net. This touches things like family paid leave, childcare, lowering health costs. This is a big deal. He needs this win, and it might pass the House of Representatives any minute now. And afterwards, it's on to the Senate, where there's going to be a more difficult fight, and Canada is going to hope that it gets modified in the Senate.
All right, Alex Pineda in Washington, Rosemary Barton in Ottawa. Thank you both. It's been a long day for a short summit. It's been a long day. They have taken lots of notes, and this isn't over yet, these discussions. Thank you for following all the twists and turns of the summit with us right out of that place right there, the White House. A big announcement is coming tomorrow. Kids will be approved for a vaccine.
Just knowing that it's here now is really exciting.
Coming up, it's not fun, but some kids are eager to get the jab. And police move in on a First Nations group trying to stop a pipeline project.
We just got word that they released K9 units at the bridge.
And I'll be back from here in British Columbia, where we're meeting helpers at every corner. Come here. Come here. Friends get out on the water to save people's pets. We're back in 2.
Welcome back. Ontario students will be going home during the December break with rapid antigen COVID tests.
Enhancing our testing strategy is critical to protect our hospital capacity, our healthcare resources, and the progress that we've made together.
Now, students don't have to use the 5 tests, but if they're going to, they should use them every 3 or 4 days during the break. 11 million tests are being distributed to all Ontario schools. And CBC News has confirmed something millions of parents have been waiting to hear. Tomorrow, Health Canada will announce approval of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for children aged 5 to 11. The doses could arrive in a matter of days. David Cochran shows us what's at stake.
How many episodes does he have?
2 parents, both of them doctors, with 4 boys between the ages of 5 and 10. The COVID vaccine can't come soon enough.
I think I will just have a huge sense of relief, just relief for them to have them as best protected as we can be.
Mom is a family doctor. Dad works in intensive care and has been treating COVID patients since the beginning, which has led to blunt talk about vaccines.
We don't hold back when we're talking with our kids about these things, and they've seen the evolution over the last 18 months. They've heard from me the suffering and death that I've seen at work that's caused by COVID.
The message took. The boys are keen to get jabbed.
I'm a big baby with needles, but I am really excited to get the COVID vaccine. Now we'll be able to go to new places.
Not just because of what Mom and Dad see at work, they miss being kids.
I was signed up for a season of baseball on Leo's team. It would have been the only year, but then COVID came and stopped it.
I'm really sad because I was looking forward to playing baseball with Nate.
In the U.S., more than 2.5 million kids have had their first shot of Pfizer so far. Friday's approval for Canada comes after several weeks where the highest incidence rates have been in kids under 12.
They're pretty excited to get the poke and to get going. Of course, the day of, when it's actually their turn, I'm sure we'll have, a little bit of hesitancy and a little bit of fear from them, but that's to be expected.
Federal officials are now working with Pfizer to lock down a firm delivery schedule for 2.9 million doses, enough for every kid between 5 and 11 to get their first shot. Federal sources say deliveries could start early next week, then it's up to the provinces to get doses in arms. David Cochran, CBC News, Ottawa.
Next on The National, a First Nations band is trapped between 2 washed-out bridges.
We don't have lights at nighttime, and we can't cook. We got no hot water.
How crews are trying to get them out. Next. More Canadian military support on its way to BC's Lower Mainland to help with relief efforts. 120 troops are joining Canadian Air Force members already here, assisting in evacuations and reconnecting broken supply lines. More soldiers are on standby if needed. With roads and bridges damaged and major routes closed, many people remain displaced, some even stranded. The Nooaitch First Nation lies just west of Merritt. It was completely cut off after bridges were washed away by the flood. Today, Aaron Collins visited the remote site where crews have been working around the clock. Their goal is to build a bridge and get vital supplies to those who need them.
There's just two ways into the Nooaitch band's land. Both bridges, both washed out. That means band members and other residents in this area are stranded. No power, no drinking water, little heat, little to do but wait.
With no power, all our freezers can't run. We don't have lights at nighttime, and we can't cook. We got no hot water, so it's pretty stressful.
Work is underway to change that in a hurry. No easy task. You can usually walk across this creek. Not anymore. It went from 10 meters across to more than 60 overnight.
By the time we got told to leave here, evacuate, the bridges were out. I've never seen it like this, and I'm almost 70 years old.
These crews are working around the clock to rebuild this crossing, building it out to meet the changing landscape. They've been working on the nearby Trans Mountain pipeline expansion, but when the floodwaters hit, they quickly switched gears.
A lot of these people, I know most of them, and they know us, and we're really not going to leave here tonight until they can drive across.
To get the job done, workers from throughout the area are pitching in, including some from the neighboring Lower Mainland First Nation.
We all need to kind of lean on each other right now, and other communities are supporting other communities and helping them out. Being First Nation is it's a tough goal right now.
Until the work is done, the people here can do little more than watch, wait, and try to keep warm.
I'm fortunate enough that I've got a wood heater.
The hope is to have the crossing here completed and people moving at some point tonight. It's going to take much longer to get this area back to anything even resembling normal. Aaron Collins, CBC News, near the Nooaitch First Nation.
Among the thousands stranded by floodwaters is a new mother and her premature baby. For 2 months, she traveled from Chilliwack to Surrey to visit her son in the neonatal unit. But when he was finally healthy enough to leave, the route home was no longer available. Here's her story for the record.
We leave the hospital, we're on the highway, and we were reading, like, at 7 o'clock they were saying it was going to be closed, and it was about like 4:30 at that time, so we were like, we're for sure going to be able to get home. And as we're getting closer, the line of traffic is getting longer. I am then, of course, starting to panic because we don't have anything for Jackson. We tried to find a hotel in Abbotsford, and of course they were already all booked up. So then the stress levels were getting even higher. Like, okay, well now we at least need to run to Walmart and get some stuff so we can last through the night. And we ended up being able to find a hotel in Langley. Between a newborn and a first-time mom and 3 adults in a hotel room not being at home, it's been a lot. I couldn't be happier with how he's been. I don't think he knows any different from how crazy his little life has been from the start. It's just the normal for him, I think, sleeping in a drawer in a hotel.
So many fascinating stories, and we'd like to share one more moment with you from here in the Fraser Valley. You heard a little bit of it in Susanna's report. It's only one side of a conversation, but we think it's worth listening to.
Dike breaches, it's pushing our way instead of going toward the Barrowtown pumps. That's the problem. Yeah, you know, I've gone from laughing and crying every couple hours for the last few days because you just don't know what to do sometimes. Yeah, I know. It's just, you know, your cows are out, they're safe, that's what matters, Kevin. You know, your family, get them out, stay safe. Don't, you know, if your furnace, I know you don't want to lose your furnace and stuff, but if it matters, you guys saving yourselves, that's the biggest. If you can, if wagons are willing, just get it out, get it to your animals. It's better to have the feed than not. We don't know how long we're going to be out.
You know, as we heard that tape, it occurred to us that there are probably many people having similar conversations across the Fraser Valley this week. People obviously on the one hand reluctant to leave, and others who are trying to persuade them to go to safety. So, Adrian, over to you.
Incredibly, and another night of people reaching out to each other. Next on the National, more on the North American Leaders Summit. Rosie is here with the At Issue panel.
Thanks, Adrian. As you know, today's summit had a friendly tone, but it also raised some very real concerns. We'll talk about what this could mean for the future of our relationship with the U.S. That's coming up with Chantal, Althea, and Aaron Wary, all next.
I want to thank you, President Biden, for hosting this NALS, the first since 2016 when I welcomed the then leaders to Ottawa. We are three countries with extremely strong ties between our people, with our visions and values for the future strongly united.
Okay, those were just some of the opening remarks from the Prime Minister earlier today at the North American Leaders Summit. How successful was the visit to Washington? What does it mean, if anything, for the future of the Canada-U.S. relations? It's Thursday. I'm here with At Issue Chantal Hébert, Althea Raj, and in for Andrew tonight, Aaron Wary. Good to see everybody. Appreciate being here. Chantal, I'll start with you. It's, I suppose, already something that the three leaders can get together because it has been a long time for all sorts of reasons. What did you make of the Prime Minister's visit and who he chose to meet with and the kind of messaging that he had?
Two things. The first, it's going to be complicated, and those complications stem from Joe Biden's own position with Congress. It's a very tenuous hold that the Democrats have, and he does not have a lot of leeway. The other message I got from it was that Canada has come around to the view that the approach that they took to the Trump era needs to be in place or be put back in place for the Biden era, because there is only so much that Justin Trudeau will achieve. Talking to Joe Biden, the pressure on Congress is going to be essential.
Althea, and some of that is, of course, about this electric vehicle tax credit we've talked a lot about, but your thoughts?
Yeah, he was asked about that. The Prime Minister was, as in his meeting with the President, and I think that the answer that Justin Trudeau was hoping for was not what the President told reporters, which is basically, well, the bill's in front of Congress and we don't know what it's going to look like yet, so we'll talk about that after. Well, talking about that after seems like it might be a little bit too late, but we're hearing behind the scenes that, well, there are things the administration can do to carve out an exemption for Canada. But I guess the first lesson would be we're a little bit late on this. I mean, if this proposal came out of the powerful Ways and Means Committee while we were in an election campaign on September 15th, it is really important to Joe Biden's left-wing Democratic base to move forward on protectionist policies like this. The other thing I think that's important to note is that this is a full court press from the federal government. I don't know if that is part of like, hey, we're so tired of COVID and now we can finally do diplomacy in person, that let's all go down together. But it is interesting to note that at the end of the day, so many people have gone down and we're not coming back with lots of stuff in hand.
Aaron, your thoughts?
Yeah, I did. The fact that there were so many ministers going down, that there were meetings with, Congress and Senate leaders, that is pretty reminiscent of the Trump years and how Canada approached these things. But, otherwise, this kind of feels like a return to the pre-Trump normal, which is as much as people may have kind of tricked themselves into thinking that, once Donald Trump went away, that everything would be kind of tickety-boo again and Canada and the United States would get along famously. It's, that's not really what history shows you. And this kind of feels like a return to the way things have always been, which is that the United States does something, in this case, the EV tax credit, and then Canadian officials have to go down to Washington and carefully explain to them why that's a really bad thing for us and why, something that's bad for us would be bad for them. And so, I think this is just kind of it does feel like a bit of just kind of getting back to normal Canada-U.S. relations. I don't think the EV tax credit thing is going to be fixed quickly, but I think the bigger question coming out of this is, for as long as Biden or a Democrat is in the White House, can Canada, can the Trudeau government make some progress on North American issues, clean energy, the climate change, and really build something that can kind of last past these 4 years?
I sense Chantal has one more thing to say.
Still, there is a big difference. There are things that Bill Clinton or Barack Obama could do on the phone with a prime minister that Joe Biden cannot do because, as he knows, when he is asked, he doesn't know the outcome because he does not have as many levers that he can use in Congress as his predecessors, and that makes it different.
Okay, I want to do a very quick round on what the heck is happening inside the Conservative Party. This move by Senator Denise Batters to start a petition to begin the process to remove Aaron O'Toole. Aaron O'Toole boots her from caucus and tries to quell again this turmoil. Is this the end or the beginning of this, do you think, Althea?
Too early to say. I think it was a shot across the bow to everybody who, all those kind of 30 members or so of caucus who are agitating. Now, they have support for more people from more caucus members than those who are vocal in their criticism, shall you say. But then as we talked about last week, he appointed like 80 people to the shadow cabinet. You have to expect that in giving them such a plump position, that he got their support. And, you had the story circulating probably by the OLO earlier this week that Mr. O'Toole had secured at least 70 MPs who were ready to boot out any dissenting caucus member. And I think that has put a chill on caucus. That is not to say that the grassroots are not agitating, because they are.
Erin, how are you reading this and reading it for Mr. O'Toole's leadership?
It feels like the big question now is sort of how many people does Denise Batters really have behind her, and are they willing to speak up and come forward? It does feel, I think, what Althea said, that O'Toole sort of offered a challenge here of kind of like, okay, it's, put up or shut up. If you want to challenge my leadership, go for it. But it's easy to kick one person out of caucus. It's harder if it gets to be a dozen people that he has to kick out of caucus. And I think what's also interesting here is just the way Denise Batters is attacking O'Toole, which is kind of really picking up on the kind of contradictions he's laid out for himself, and really kind of hitting him with what he hit Peter MacKay with during the leadership, this idea that he's taken the party to the mushy middle. And I think that speaks to sort of the larger structural issues that this party has to come to grips with in terms of exactly what it's going to offer the Canadian public going forward.
It also doesn't, you understand why you did it, Chantal, but it also doesn't look great to shut down dissent, because you would presumably, particularly in the Conservative Party, want different viewpoints to be allowed to be voiced.
Well, for one, but for two, it's easy enough to show a senator the door, but I'm not sure Mr. O'Toole seriously believes Denise Batters woke up one morning on her own thinking, and let's just do this, guys, this would be interesting. So what happens when he needs to show the door to people who are MPs and who may be actually part of his inner cabinet? I've watched enough depth of the 1,000 cuts of opposition leaders to know that those, the longer they go on, usually don't end well for that leader.
Okay, got to leave it there tonight, but thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Chantal, Althea, and Erin, thanks for stepping in. Before we go, be sure to subscribe to At Issue, the podcast. We've got extra content there. We're going to look ahead to the return of Parliament finally and next week's throne speech. You can listen to that conversation on any major podcast app, our website, cbcnews.ca/thenational. And with that, I will throw it back to Adrian in Washington.
All right, thank you, Rosie. Next on The National, a First Nations community blocked a major pipeline in BC, but today police moved in to break it up. And this isn't the first time the two sides have clashed. That story next. Welcome back. At least 10 people are hurt, one seriously, after an explosion at a Canadian Forces base on Vancouver Island that could be heard in a nearby neighborhood. So that explosion happened this morning outside a barracks under renovation, well away from where the base's planes are kept. There was no damage to the airfield. Military officials haven't said what caused the blast. The RCMP arrested at least 14 people today at the site of a First Nations blockade in northern British Columbia. The protest was set up by Wet'suwet'en clan west of Prince George on a remote forestry road near Houston, BC. The road is now said to be cleared, but as Jorge Barrera shows us, this is just the latest flashpoint in a long-running battle over one of Canada's largest energy projects.
Roads closed. Roads closed. We are here to conduct work on behalf of the Coastal GasLink project, and you're impeding us.
Another confrontation ignited on a familiar battleground. Wet'suwet'en members put up barricades late last weekend, and Hereditary Chief Woos ordered pipeline workers off his territory.
A total of 20 hours was given to CGL to vacate the camp.
The barricades have cut off supplies to 500 workers on Coastal GasLink's project site and violated a 2019 court injunction, making it illegal to obstruct the forestry road. Today, the RCMP moved in to enforce that injunction for the third time in as many years. This was the first raid in 2019. CBC News obtained never-before-aired footage, revealing the intensity and breadth of the conflict that has flared once again.
Two subjects working their way westbound to each pile.
In 2019, Molly Wickham was singled out by police.
What do you want next?
I want Molly.
Okay, good. All right, next is Molly.
As RCMP moved in today, Wickham took to social media to rally support.
They're trespassing. We need you to shut shit down everywhere that you can.
Not everyone agrees. The Coastal GasLink project has signed deals with 20 First Nation elected band councils, including from the Wet'suwet'en Nation. The elected chief of the Wet'suwet'en First Nation issued a statement saying it was the actions of a few members who do not represent the collective views of most Wet'suwet'en people. The statement urged them to step down peacefully and immediately.
Our Wet'suwet'en law is what we live by. It's everything that matters to us.
As of this evening, Coastal GasLink says the main road is clear, but Wickham and others continue to occupy a nearby site, preparing to hold on until the end. Jorge Barrera, CBC News, Ottawa.
Next on The National, here in Abbotsford, hundreds of people have had to be evacuated, abandoning everything, including their pets. The two friends are trying to help those left behind. Stay with us. Brian Mera and Jack White, two friends from Abbotsford, got in their boats this morning to try to rescue some pets and livestock. The glimmer of hope they helped bring to their devastated community is our moment.
We took a boat out today and we were out saving cattle. We saved a cat, right? So we just went out and we put a thing out on Facebook asking for people for their addresses and basically where their pets were and what they needed help with. So we took basically a list of addresses and we helped save people's livestock and pets. Essentially what we did was we pulled them over to a tractor that was hooked up to a livestock trailer.
Load them in the boat, drive them on the land, get them in the trailer, and then off it goes. We must have been there for maybe an hour or something, and it was like constant truckloads, like back and forth. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. Like you drive through Abbotsford and you see all the farmland, but to be driving over some of it in a boat in 10 feet of water and just seeing all the destruction.
These people lost everything, but if they can just get their beloved pet back or whatever, then we're happy.
We've done our part.
You know, Brian and Jack did more than get the animals. They said they went to check on some houses, and to give you a sense of it, sometimes the water was so high it was at the ceiling, and in the houses they could get into, the floors were so waterlogged, they said it was like walking on marshmallows.
Listen, a shout out to the extraordinary gratitude and then acts of kindness by people here in Abbotsford, big and small. Big, as we just saw, smaller but appreciated ones here. We set up here for the first time. Within minutes, people brought over dinners for us, coffees. This is quite a town. That is The National for November the 18th. Good night.
Good night.